At some point or another, we've all wanted to rip open our shirts to reveal a hidden costume, fly out of an open window, and save the day. Who doesn't want to show the world their true purpose? While this looks like a job for Superman has a better ring to it than this looks like a job for Bob or Carol. Everyday people have it within them to amaze others and perform impossible feats. While these individuals weren't bathed in gamma rays, bitten by radioactive animals, or exiled from faraway planets, they've shown themselves to have extraordinary abilities. Some people are born with genetic mutations that allow them to have some physical or mental advantages over average humans, but these individuals develop their skills through time and practice, proving that you can come from a humble upbringing and still be amazing. Here, the Hub's giving you 10 people with real-life superpowers caught on camera. And while you're watching, click on the subscribe button. Just like the bat signal, this red button will tell you where all the action is. Russian Superman. Clark Kent may have lifted his foster parents' car as a baby in Superman the movie and countless comic books, but this Russian man is the real deal. In an as yet unknown frozen part of a Russian city, a car got stuck in a snow-covered curb. Now, this isn't out of the ordinary in any winter scene. During a morning commute, cars will get stuck all the time. However, a good Samaritan comes to the rescue of this sedan. He pulls over and gets out of his car. After assessing the situation, in which the stranded car's driver is helplessly stepping on the gas while his wheels turn and take him absolutely nowhere, this good Samaritan grabs the back bumper and nonchalantly lifts the car a couple feet off the ground. It's an effortless display of strength that appears to require little energy. Once he's moved the car, he walks back to his own vehicle and pulls away without bothering to introduce himself or show his face. He wasn't some masked man, but he's still a mysterious figure whose license plate isn't caught in the video and whose identity is kept a secret. If you're ever in Russia and your car is stuck on the side of the road, better hope this man is somewhere nearby. Super strong suspect. Just as a Russian strongman happened to be conveniently nearby some car trouble, an equally gifted person made himself known to two police officers in North London. Unfortunately, he apparently wasn't using his powers for good. In the area of Archway during late night hours, two cops on patrol had apprehended a suspect when he broke free of their grasp. Rather than run away or stand down, he was able to easily grab the male officer at his side. In an altercation that spanned the length of an entire intersection, he pinned the cop to the ground by his neck. The female officer assisting him grabbed the suspect from behind, but she was no match for his brute strength. After tailing the suspect across the street, she too was grabbed and sent to the ground next to her male associate. It was a shocking transfer of power, as the suspect was easily able to transition from a position of weakness with his hands held behind his back to ultimate power, as he then held two police officers to the ground by their necks. After the authorities were out of commission, he ran away. Adrenaline can give strength to many unassuming people, but just as Supermen walk among us, supervillains can appear as well. We are very excited to announce the Premium Network. The Premium gets you early access to videos from The Richest, Screen Rant, The Taco, The Sportster, The Things, and many other great channels. Literally thousands of videos in one place with ad-free browsing. Check out the Premium by clicking this link. Sign up for free and start binge-watching videos from your favorite channels. Wim HOF. Bobby Drake, otherwise known as Iceman, has been a member of the X-Men since the original comic's first issue in 1963. Although his ability to control and manipulate temperatures around his body seems like a power reserved for the world of fantasy, it may be closer to real life than many realize. Case in point, Wim HOF. In 2 hours' time, this citizen of the Netherlands can comfortably sit in a glacial environment in just his underwear alone. If you were to sit in this spot, fully clothed, there's a strong chance you'd suffer from frostbite or even hypothermia if you weren't all bundled up and covered in extra layers. As the record holder for the longest-lasting ice bath and known for climbing Mount Kilimanjaro wearing only a pair of shorts, this 57-year-old is able to survive these crazy feats through natural breathing techniques. HOF will induce a hyperventilation, which allows his heart rate, adrenaline, and internal body temperature to naturally increase, whereas our bodies would drop several degrees in temperature, causing hypothermia to set in, unconsciousness within 15 minutes, and death within an hour. His instinctual rate of breathing gives him a leg up in colder environments. He also has a higher than average level of brown adipose tissue, a type of brown fat that is usually more abundant in hibernating mammals, so his genetics are superhuman as well. OLakes Segura Vendrell. Just as our world has a real-life Iceman, OLakes Segura Vendrell is a genuine Aquaman. Although he can't talk to fish, He can relate to whales as he too can stay underwater for very long periods of time. The average person can hold their breath submerged for about 30 seconds. On February 28, 2016, this Barcelona native entered the Guinness Book of World Records by holding his breath for 24 minutes and 3.45 seconds as an event for the 17th Mediterranean Dive Show. Known as static apnea, this participant is expected to hold their breath underwater without moving. Fully submerged, OLakes was expected to intake pure oxygen from a scuba tank on his back prior to his breath hold. This allows individuals to hold their breath for longer than if you were to breathe in the naturally occurring air around you prior to holding. While yes, the pure oxygen increases your length of time for staying conscious without breathing, only a free diver with specially trained lungs can hold their breath for more than 20 minutes, much less 24. In this time, OLakes would be able to comfortably watch an entire sitcom without opening his mouth or sucking in air through his nostrils. Tom Sietis. While OLakes handily beat Tom Sietis in the static apnea competition, Tom holds the record for swimming 700 feet without emerging for air. That's nearly 9 laps of a standard-length, short-course Olympic swimming pool. Like Vendrell, this German native is a freediver, displaying underwater endurance abilities without the aid of an oxygen tank for sustained breathing. Like other extreme sports, this practice has gained quite a bit of popularity in recent decades, with contemporary international competitions garnering nearly 10,000 contestants. Utilizing techniques learned from Asian pearl divers who are able to scavenge for oysters in inhuman depths of 100 feet, Sietis was first attracted to freediving when his scuba instructor recommended it as a method to naturally overcome the water pressure's painful effect on his ears. In 2004, Sietis broke the record for longest breath held underwater without an initial intake of pure oxygen at 7 minutes and 48 seconds. Later beating this record with a breath hold of over 10 minutes, he's looking to move his record-breaking capabilities out of the pool and into the Mediterranean. After David Blaine broke the static apnea record in 2008, Tom took it upon himself to beat that record by over 5 minutes. Although the static apnea record was later beaten by OLakes Vendrell, Tom Sietis' competitive edge will certainly continue to serve him well. Daniel Kish. Just as Vendrell and Sietis dominate as Supermen of the Sea, Daniel Kish is a genuine real-world Batman. No, he's not a billionaire orphan trained in martial arts and the powers of deduction. Rather, Kish is merely a man dealt a heavy blow by nature, so he used his determination to overcome his disability. As an infant, he suffered from retinoblastoma, a cancer of the retina which caused both his eyes to be removed before he was a year and a half old. Now, in his early 50s and living a normal life in California, Kish has developed his own form of echolocation, which he calls flash sonar, and it's not unlike the practice bats use to get around. To visualize the surroundings in front of him, he emits a sharp clicking noise with his tongue. The sound bounces off objects in his vicinity, and the echo comes back to his ears at different rates, giving him an idea of the objects and obstacles in front of him. Whether they're a tree, a fence, a step downward, he can even tell when a car is parked too far from the curb. Kish bikes through city streets, hikes and camps alone, several miles from civilization. He advocates fully independent living for the blind, and he practices what he preaches. Jack LaLanne. Known as the godfather of fitness, Jack LaLanne was famed for his healthy lifestyle and his nutritional advocacy. More than just a TV personality, LaLanne, who died in 2011 at the age of 96, stayed active and fit through the very end. When others are winding down, he was just getting started, as evidenced by one of his most amazing feats of physical prowess. On his 70th birthday, LaLanne marked the occasion by swimming a mile. But this wasn't just any natural waterway. He swam in the open water from California's Long Beach Harbor to Queensway Bridge in a trek through 2.5 hours of choppy waters and rough currents. More amazing is the fact that this septuagenarian was handcuffed and shackled the whole time. But that's not all. Always the showman, LaLanne was also dragging 70 rowboats behind him, one for each year of his life, and some even had passengers on board. If this seems crazy, it's really not out of character for his larger-than-life personality. The guy actually seemed to enjoy towing boats while handcuffed and shackled as he swam the length of the Golden Gate Bridge, dragging a 2,500-pound cruiser with currents that turned the mile-long trek into 6.5 miles of treacherous hand paddling. Beat that, Michael Phelps! Phoenix Jones. Usually, real heroes are people on the street who provide assistance to strangers in need without asking for anything in return. Sometimes, these men and women are just private individuals going about their business before being called upon to do good. Other times, these people wear uniforms of police officers or firemen or emergency medical technicians. And other times, they're dressed as actual superheroes. While they may not have any actual superpowers at their disposal, there are actual men and women who consider themselves real-life superheroes. One of the more well-known members of RLSH is Phoenix Jones, a trained MMA MMA fighter who patrols Seattle reporting various criminal activities to the police. In the event a situation gets out of hand, Jones intervenes, having stopped several carjackings, a busjacking, and a knife brawl among other street crimes. While the authorities don't want to rely on vigilantes who take matters into their own hands, he hasn't been deterred from independent crime fighting. With his signature painted costume made of a dragon skin bulletproof vest and stab plating, Jones leads Seattle's Rain City superhero movement, which is basically a Justice League for ordinary citizens taking criminal justice into their own hands. Richard Browning. Just like Iron Man's alter ego, Tony Stark, Richard Browning is a charismatic entrepreneur with a high-tech suit. With his young company, Gravity, Browning's developed a form of human propulsion that could be easily worn by its owner. Dual-cylinder engines are attached to the fist and forearm, and additional engines are on the back of each calf. These allow the wearer to fly just a few feet off the ground if need be. Additionally, the suit is said to have the ability to accelerate up to hundreds of miles per hour and reach thousands of feet in altitude. This all seems too good to be true, but Browning means business. His high-profile backer is Red Bull, and with the funding and development underway, he expects to go live with the human propulsion technology in the next year. Previously, it was thought you needed wings to glide humans up to newer and higher heights, but you need just to build some specialized engines and have sky-high motivation for a single person to reach the heights only Superman could have previously attained. With a lightweight exoskeleton suit, simple helmet, and goggles, in addition to the kerosene-powered turbines worn on the pilot's extremities, flight seems likely with Browning's invention. Alain Robert. If you have a special super skill and you want to be caught on camera, there's probably no better place to perform your talent than on the side of a building owned by a newspaper. The New York Times building served as the backdrop for a death-defying act undertaken by self-styled stuntman Alain Robert. This French Spider-Man has scaled the 500-foot-tall Ariane Tower, Montparnasse Tower, and the Eiffel Tower in France, the Sydney Opera House in Australia, and the National Bank of Abu Dhabi. Climbing without a rope, parachute, or other means of safety, he shimmies his way up facades that are often flat, glass, or metal, using any rivet or indentation as a means to propel himself further upwards. His repeated arrests haven't stopped him from topping many famous structures in cities the world over, and he often uses his climbing prowess to make a statement. Although he claimed to have climbed 80 buildings by 2008, including the 5 tallest structures in the world, he chose the 52-story home base of the New York Times to make a statement about climate change. If his fearlessness of heights can bring awareness to issues others deem important, then some will definitely consider this controversial Spider-Man to be a superhero in his own right. The talents of these 10 people with real-life superpowers caught on camera may outshine our own abilities, but with some practice and determination, we can all find our own superpowers. Thanks for watching The Hub, and stay tuned for more uncanny videos. Same Hub time, same Hub channel.